Hi, this is Johnny, your friendly local realtor. Welcome to the July 2021 monthly market report. We've passed half of 2021 and the housing market's been hot so far, and it seems like it's not going to cool down anytime soon. Today I'm going to be focusing primarily on inventory because this is the most talked about subject in the current housing market. I'm going to discuss how much inventory we'll be seeing and how much appreciation we should expect going forward. So let's get started. To really understand till when and how much appreciation we're going to be seeing in the future, we really have to understand numbers of inventory. But before we look into the distant future, first, let's take a look at what's about to happen in the remaining half of this year. If you look at this graph by NAR, we can see that inventories remain flat in the beginning of the year, but more and more inventories have been coming into the market since the onset of spring. Now, we're still seeing homes being snatched up quickly by the buyers, so this hasn't changed, but more inventories have indeed come into the market. And let's take a look at this graphically. This is month-over-month change in inventory throughout the country, and we see the inventories went up on average 8.8% compared to May. And if you look closely in Georgia, we see even higher numbers of homes coming into the market at 10.2%. Now, this is good news for the buyers, and we could expect home buying season to be stretched into the later part of this year, because this is what George Ratu said. The improvement we saw in new listings growth from May to June shows sellers are entering the market historically later in the season, which could mean we'll see home buying continue into the fall as buyers jump at new opportunities. And what does all this mean for the home price appreciation this year? The most recent forecast by the experts ranging from 6.6 to 10.6%, we can average that these experts are expecting about 8.9% appreciation this year. Now, if you remember from my January monthly market report, these experts had originally projected about 5% appreciation, but now have all raised their forecast. This is of course due to lack of homes coming into the market with continuing pandemic and new construction halting their projects due to rise in cost and lack of building materials. Now, I believe the appreciation will continue to rise for this year, quite possibly to double digits, surpassing last year's appreciation of 10%. Now, let's look into next year and beyond and see how much home prices will continue to appreciate. According to Pulsonomics' most recent home price expectation survey of over 100 economists, investment strategists, and housing market analysts, this is what they forecasted. The home prices will continue to rise over the next several years, but eventually going to level back to historical norm. FYI, the historical appreciation rate in this country is about 3.8%. Now, these rates make sense because right now we're at the deep end of the seller's market, and in order for us to reach neutral market of 6 to 7 months of inventory, as seen in this graph, NAR recently said we would need 2.7 million additional homes in the market for sale. Okay, so if I say half of 2.7 million homes are resale homes that's not in the market due to people still fearing pandemic, how long does it take to build other half, 1.35 million homes? Well, I've shown you this graph a couple months ago to show you the biggest reason why we don't have inventories right now is because we pretty much didn't build homes for the last decade. But if you look again, right before the 2008 Great Recession from 04 to 06, we've built over 1.5 million homes, setting the record for most homes built in this country. So if you do the calculation, if it took us 3 years to build 1.5 million homes, and considering that we build again at the same intensity, it would take us about 3 years to build 1.35 million homes. Which also means it will take us at least 3 years to reach the neutral market, and hence, home prices will continue to appreciate till then. And let's look at an example of what this means in equity gain from the same survey by Pulsonomics. If you purchased a home for $350,000 in January 2021, you are expected to gain over $90,000 over the next 5 years solely on home equity alone. And this is not considering other financial benefits you gain from home ownership. Now, despite the wealth you could be earning by purchasing a home today, something very interesting has started happening. As we all know, buyer demand is very high right now, but recently that demand has started to wane. And this is what Ivy Zelman said in her June broker report. This month's overall homebuyer demand rating equaled 86 on a 0 to 100 scale, down from 88 last month and marking the first sequential decline since November. Now, why is this happening? Well, if you look at this home purchase sentiment index of survey done on the buyers, less people are believing that now is the good time to buy as time progresses. As you can see, in May at 35%, the sentiment has dropped almost 50% since this time last year. And if you look at this monthly showing time index, you can see that the numbers of people wanting to see homes has actually dropped in May. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand because buyer demand is still very high. Because if you compare now to this time last year, when there were lots of buyer demand coming out of the lockdown, we're still very much higher than that. So why are the buyers think that right now is not the good time to buy? Because mainly, their perception has become their reality. Record high appreciation, extremely low inventory, record high percent of sales over listing price, and record low days on the market are all contributing to give buyers this perception. But as I have said in the beginning, more inventories are coming in the market and home prices will continue to appreciate for the next several years, so you need to stay in the fight. Now, there's one more reason buyers shouldn't give up, and that's because of the interest rate. If you look at this most recent projection from Freddie, Fannie, MBA, and NAR, they're all projecting that the interest rate will start to move upward in the next 12 months. This is bound to happen as we move forward and the economy starts to recover. It's going to be more expensive to borrow that money to buy your home. Well, this is all I have for you today, and I hope what I covered could help you in making that important real estate decision for you and your loved ones. I know and feel the frustration of the buyers, but please don't be fooled by your perception, because things are only going to get more expensive if you wait or delay. I'll see you again next month with more valuable real estate information. Goodbye.